Have you ever noticed this in any Resident Evil game? Well, not the entirety of the franchise, but let's say a handful of games. Let's start with Resident Evil 4. Well, you basically start the game with a limited health that can be upgraded to a certain amount using a certain mixture of herbs. Well, there are 3 herbs in this game: green, red, and yellow. And if you combine any mixture with yellow herbs, it increases the maxed health limitation up to a certain point, actually. So as you proceed in the game, you will find several yellow herbs scattered around the levels. But here's the deal. What does this actually mean? It means that the more you proceed, the more damage the enemies will deal you. But that's not the only thing about this feature in Resident Evil 4. Imagine this situation. The first fight with El Gigante, when you're trying to return to the church where you have to find Ashley. Well, you know, in that situation, I remember being punched a lot and still being alive. Well, this has most probably happened to you too. You know, you are on low health and the enemy punches you, but you don't die. You actually go to the least amount of health you could possibly have. Basically, you are on the edge. This feature is called adaptive difficulty, which I absolutely love. And I know how it is done, but it really makes the game more dynamic, and it basically prevents killing the mood. And this is not featured in only Resident Evil games. You can find it in Assassin's Creed and Uncharted as well. But Resident Evil 4 was the first game in the Resident Evil franchise that I found this adaptive difficulty. And in Resident Evil 5 and 6, there must be an adaptive difficulty, but I didn't feel it that much. But since Capcom moved on to RE engine, everything changed. Basically, they are returning to the old era of Resident Evil, basically, where you have green, yellow, and red health status, right? Well, in Resident Evil 7, 2, 3, remakes, and 8, this same thing happens. Well, not exactly the same as RE4, but it is still featured there. Well, let's say you're grabbed by a zombie in Resident Evil 2 Remake. Well, they bite you, but your health status doesn't change when you were expecting it to go on a lower status. Well, imagine you're on green. You go and you get grabbed by a zombie, but instead of going to yellow, it still is on green. This is still that adaptive difficulty that I just talked about. And just like Resident Evil 4, the amount of ammo and healing items that the game provides you changes based on your performance. I don't know how it exactly works. As far as I know, it is really complicated, and as an average gamer, I cannot explain how it's done. You've got to be a developer to understand it entirely. But let's say you were hit by a couple of zombies and you're low on health, and the next trait you open gives you healing items, or I don't know, ammo. And this changes basically based on the healing items, ammo, and whatever you have in your inventory, which is crazy. And like I said, this makes the game way more dynamic and prevents killing the mood of the game. And I would really like this to return in Resident Evil 4 Remake. And since this has been a tradition in recent Resident Evil games, this is most probably gonna happen. But I would really love to know your opinions about this, because it is obviously a really cool feature that could, you know, change the game drastically. Anyway, this was a short video that I just wanted to make. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm a Raccoon City survivor, and as always, thanks for watching.